India's superpower ambitions, a reality check. India, with its ancient civilization and burgeoning economy, aspires to become a global superpower. This ambition is fueled by a potent mix of national pride, economic progress, and a young and vibrant population. However, the path to superpower status is paved with challenges. These challenges are both internal and external. India must confront poverty, improve education, and strengthen its infrastructure. It must also navigate complex geopolitical realities. The term superpower itself is slippery. It evokes images of military might, economic dominance, and global influence. Yet, in the 21st century, the definition is evolving. Superpowers are not just about hard power, but also about soft power. This includes cultural influence, technological innovation, and diplomatic prowess. India, with its rich history, diverse culture, and growing technological sector, has the potential to excel in these areas. However, realizing this potential requires a clear-eyed assessment of the challenges ahead. India's rise must not be taken for granted. It will require sustained effort, strategic thinking, and a willingness to confront difficult truths. The journey will be long and arduous, but the destination, a truly powerful and influential India, is worth striving for. The world is watching to see if India can overcome its challenges and claim its place on the global stage. India's economy has grown rapidly in recent decades, lifting millions out of poverty. This economic dynamism is a key driver of its superpower aspirations. The country boasts a young and growing workforce, providing a demographic advantage. This demographic dividend has the potential to propel India's economic growth for decades to come. India's information technology sector is a global powerhouse, with Indian companies and professionals making their mark worldwide. This success story demonstrates India's potential in the knowledge-based economy. The startup ecosystem in India is also booming. Young entrepreneurs are leveraging technology to create innovative solutions in various sectors. This entrepreneurial spirit is a source of dynamism and job creation. However, economic growth alone is not enough. India must ensure that this growth is inclusive and benefits all sections of society. The fruits of economic progress must reach the poorest and most marginalized communities. This requires targeted social welfare programs, investment in education and healthcare, and efforts to bridge the gap between rich and poor. Despite its economic progress, India continues to grapple with significant challenges. Poverty remains a persistent problem, particularly in rural areas. Millions of Indians still lack access to basic necessities like sanitation, healthcare, and education. This widespread poverty casts a long shadow over India's superpower ambitions. The quality of education in India is uneven. While there are pockets of excellence, the overall education system suffers from a lack of resources, qualified teachers, and modern infrastructure. This is particularly true in rural areas where access to quality education remains a distant dream for many children. India's infrastructure is also lagging behind its aspirations. Roads, railways, ports, and airports are often congested and inefficient. This inadequate infrastructure acts as a bottleneck to economic growth and development. Addressing these challenges is crucial for India to realize its full potential. Section 4. Navigating regional dynamics, India and its neighbors. India's relations with its South Asian neighbors have been marked by both cooperation and conflict. Historical baggage, border disputes, and political rivalries continue to cast a shadow over regional dynamics. India's relations with Pakistan, in particular, remain deeply strained. The two countries have fought multiple wars over the disputed territory of Kashmir. However, there have been some positive developments in recent years. India has made efforts to improve relations with Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Nepal. Economic cooperation has increased, and there have been some breakthroughs on long-standing issues. India's Neighbours First policy emphasizes regional connectivity and cooperation. This policy recognizes that a stable and prosperous South Asia is in India's own interests. India has also been actively involved in regional organizations like the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, or SAARC. However, progress within SAARC has been slow due to regional tensions. India's role in the region is often perceived as that of a big brother. This perception is fueled by India's size, military strength, and economic dominance. Overcoming this trust deficit and building a more equitable and cooperative regional order is crucial for India's superpower aspirations. Section 5 India's Foreign Policy Balancing Act between neighbours. First, and countering China. India's foreign policy has undergone a significant transformation in recent years. The country is no longer content with a passive role in global affairs. It is actively seeking to shape the international order and secure its interests on the world stage. This assertive foreign policy is driven by a number of factors, including India's growing economic and military might, its desire for a permanent seat on the UN Security Council, and its ambition to be recognized as a leading power. One of the key pillars of India's foreign policy is its neighbours first policy. This policy, which was articulated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, emphasizes the importance of building strong and cooperative relations with India's neighbours. India has made significant efforts to improve relations with Bangladesh, Bhutan, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, providing economic assistance, development aid, and security cooperation. However, India's foreign policy is also increasingly shaped by its rivalry with China. The two Asian giants have a complex relationship marked by both cooperation and competition. They are major trading partners, but they also have a long-standing border dispute that has led to military clashes in the past. India views China's growing economic and military power with apprehension and is seeking to counter its influence in the region. Section 6. Military Capabilities and Limitations, a reality check on superpower aspirations. India possesses a large and growing military, making it one of the world's top military powers. This military strength is seen as essential for protecting India's interests in a volatile region. India has been modernizing its armed forces, acquiring advanced weapon systems, and developing its indigenous defense industry. However, India's military capabilities still lag behind those of other major powers, particularly China. India's defense budget, while substantial, is dwarfed by China's. India's defense industrial base is not yet self-sufficient, and the country remains reliant on imports for many critical weapons systems. India's military modernization efforts have been hampered by bureaucratic delays, corruption scandals, and a lack of strategic vision. The country's defense procurement process is notoriously slow and cumbersome. Moreover, India's military is structured and equipped for conventional warfare, making it ill-prepared for the challenges of 21st-century conflict, such as cyber warfare and terrorism. While India's military capabilities are significant, they are not yet at a level commensurate with its superpower ambitions. To truly become a global power, India needs to invest heavily in modernizing its armed forces, developing its defense industry, and formulating a clear and coherent military doctrine that addresses the challenges of the 21st century.